This podcast is also available via StageLink.com, the groundbreaking new platform for live performing arts. Please support the podcast by liking, subscribing, commenting, and tagging the podcast. It helps us to continue to bring the industry high-level content. I'm your host, Shanae Saletto, and my guest on today's Circuspreneur Podcast is legendary Bobby Dixon. Welcome to the podcast, Bobby.
Hi, Shania. So happy to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Bobby. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm so excited to speak to you today. Somebody that has had just such a prolific career. And Bobby has a phenomenal bio. And I am going to give you just a small snippet of that. But it's still lengthy because he's lived a lot of circus life. So Bobby began his entertainment career in water shows, sports shows, and halftime shows, performing comedy, trampoline, tumbling, comedy P-bars, hand balancing, comedy diving and high diving, and even comedy flying trapeze. He was the head clown every year for the annual Dolphin Show at the University of Iowa. After the final Olympic trials in 1972, Bobby studied comedy acrobatics with Iowa gymnastics legend Larry Griswold and began performing Larry's comedy act with a 3-meter diving board and a trampoline in 1973. Woohoo! Bob started out performing in gala shows and circuses. His first contract outside the United States was in a South African circus in 1974. From Africa, he went to a season of amusement parks in Scandinavia and then to a Spanish circus for a couple of years. After that, he began expanding his possibilities to include other venues. Bobby has performed in variety shows, circuses, reviews, sports shows, musical theater, cruise ships, historic street markets, comedy festivals, casinos, botanical gardens, nightclubs, and schools. What hasn't he done? He has performed in TV shows in 8 European countries, as well as in Africa, South America, and Asia. From 1999, he also performed several visual comedy acts with his much funnier companion, best friend, and personal sports massage therapist for the past 40 years, his wonderful Dutch wife, Anoushka. Anoushka, oh my gosh. Bobby is an acrobatic legend as well and is now associate editor of AcroNews for the World Acrobatic Society, which has its upcoming Congress in Las Vegas this coming September 5th through the 7th and is open to the circus public. Woo! I mean, that was a podcast episode in itself, Bobby.
Wow, I feel really old now.
Seasoned, Bobby, seasoned. That's what we legend. That's a better word. I mean, how did you fit all that circus in? How did you, how did you do it, Bobby? I mean, starting from, you were just telling me you're currently and have been based in Holland now since 1973 or 1974. So you've been based outside of the US for how many years now at this point? That's wild.
Yeah. Well, most of those years I was traveling, and
Mm-hmm.
for the last 40 years with Anoushka together, and
Wow.
so we were. This was uh, Anoushka's mom and her father were kind of our base in
Mm.
Holland. So if we had a couple of weeks off, we would come back here, and it was usually on the way to the next contract. So we never really had a base where we were staying for a long time until we actually retired in 2020.
And you just retired. You just retired in 2020. And COVID had something to do with that. And if it weren't for COVID, you'd still be going. You'd still be taking to the
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, we would,
Yeah. All these years
but
later.
not with any acrobatics. Only comedy.
We diversify, we go,
Yes.
we do what needs to be done, right, Bobby?
I stopped with the acrobatics when I was 59, 60.
Oh, wow. So young.
Yes. Yeah.
Only at 59, Bobby. You had to hang up the acrobatics at 59. Wow.
And it wasn't because of any physical limitations. It was just everything around the act with such big props and that, and then carrying them upstairs sometimes because they don't fit in the elevator and all of these things. And we just decided, nah, it was time.
We've had enough of that. I know. I get that way sometimes. I do partner acrobatics, and then I also do my solo hand balancing. And my solo hand balancing, my prop got like bigger and bigger and bigger over the years.
Yeah.
Then it turns into freight, then it turns into shipping, then it turns into getting it a passport. I mean, it is so complicated when you have like all those props. And after a while, I'm like, maybe I should just go back to the partnering. Having the human being ended
Really.
up being sometimes a lot simpler, to pack away.
Absolutely. And then, of course, I always have backup. My whole life, I've had backup. So we started the comedy routines, my wife and I together, already a couple of years before that I retired the acrobatic act. So they
Mm.
were already worked in. So when we stopped with the acrobatic act, there was no problem.
Oh wow, yeah, it was pretty seamless. I imagine, which is smart. I mean, that's something even that we teach nowadays for the youngest, the younger circus generation. Of you got to have always something in your back pocket to be able to transition
Absolutely.
into something else, because you never know. I'm going to drop the video of you too, Bobby, in the show notes for everybody listening in, so that you can see the phenomenal work that Bobby did in your acrobatics and your comedy act too, because just to see the little small snippets of you performing, and that level of expertise. We were speaking about that, prior to getting on the recording today, Bobby, of the arts of things that are, I wouldn't say dying, but they're definitely evolving and they're becoming a little bit different. But could you speak a bit about, coming to this art form at that time, Bobby, like in the 70s, coming from the gymnastics background, which I love. I love seeing you
Mm.
do acro in your videos. I love that you did artistic gymnastics, and then you're doing diving. I mean, you did it all. Like
Well,
you did it all, and you're holding the torch for Iowa. Like you did it. You did everything.
well, the World Acrobatic Society, as you know, has six categories of acrobatics, and I did all of them at one time or another.
Like the only one. There's no award. There's no category that that you left out. I think you're beyond the notion of triple threat at this point in time. And may we all be as lucky. Um, like I just can't imagine. But how did it feel, Bobby, retiring in 2020 after that many years, and then also too going through that many different generations of circus, and also too from the competitive environment, which is starting to be more and more popular now, but it wasn't as popular back then, to go from gymnastics into circus in that way. We were, people weren't always like ushered into circus in that way. And so I feel like that was like such like an interesting transition for you to have that open up for you to turn into like that really just phenomenal career of doing very well in gymnastics and then doing very, very well in circus. It just blows my mind.
Well, I like to say that I am so lucky that I participated in what I consider, and many others also consider to be the golden age of gymnastics. And
Yeah.
then right after that, the golden age of our type of show business.
Yeah.
So, wow, how lucky can you get in one lifetime?
Well, according to you, it's like 8 to 10 different categories. That's how lucky. It seems to be, yeah. I mean, some of us are just trying to get into one or two, but Bobby is in a whole different universe on his own in eight to 12.
Well, I guess that's why they gave me the Lifetime Achievement Award, because they couldn't decide on which category to give me.
I'd say you earned it. I'd say you've also given back a lot. I mean, you've also coached, you've been involved in so many different capacities. You've created sporting brands, you've helped in that capacity. You've been there on the health and nutrition side. You've done high performance coaching before it was called high performance coaching. I mean, we have all these phrases now that folks use, for all of our environments, but you were in that vein of kind of setting that groundwork before we had all of these very, I would say, fancy terms, fancy terminology, for those particular roles. But it kind of seems, again, like you and Anoushka evolved into those spaces just pretty naturally. I mean, you kind of just did a little bit of everything before it was popular to do that too.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said in the introduction, and it is true, she is much funnier than I am. So, you know how most artists want to become famous. That's their goal. My
Mm.
goal in show business was to become a prop for Anoushka.
Again, something to live for.
Yes. And I came pretty far with it as well.
I mean, it brought you. Well, actually, I would say 2020 and beyond, because I would say I think it's a lifetime of being her prop at this point in time.
Yeah.
That never ends, stage or no stage. I would imagine you both live your bit every single day.
Yeah, we absolutely love being performers, and uh, we never had a problem on stage together.
Mhm.
Sometimes we were even laughing more than the public was. We were having such a good time.
How lucky to be able to
Yeah,
perform, with your wife, and have that level of rapport, with each other, and having those, like, that inside joke quality that you're able to
yeah.
have all of these years, and doing that. How do you think it changed, and evolved for you, Bobby, to go from, being kind of like a solo performer, and then also to evolving into having a partnership in that way that lasted for so many years? We always say in the circus that is either what's going to keep you together, or that's what's just going to split you up and break you apart.
Well, I can't take much credit for it. I have to give all the credit to Anushka.
Of course. Of course. Of course. We all expected you to say that. So good answer, Bobby. Good answer. Yeah.
But yeah, we are so fortunate to have so many performer friends all over the world. I still have dozens and dozens of lifelong gymnastic friends in the States, and of course our circus and variety artists, performers here in Europe, and yeah, just great. We have so many friends. We have trouble visiting all of them enough.
Yeah, a great circus problem to have, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
really.
feel the same way all the time. I'm like, I just, I'm not going to make it to that country this year, so I guess we won't be seeing each other. It's a good problem to have.
Where you're always welcome here with us.
Oh, I appreciate it. Any opportunity to come to Holland. I love Netherlands. We were speaking about that before we got on the call, that I lived and worked in Netherlands for over a year, that last time around, and in and out after that, but like solidly for like a year and a half.
Okay,
Several years ago, and it was great. I was working with Hans Klock at Theater Carré. I was working at the Palazzo. I just
okay.
had such a great time. And then I was doing a lot of eventing as well when I was there. And it's, Holland, Netherlands, it's just such a fantastic time. I've also been working with some circus researchers recently, that are out of the Netherlands. And they were just in the States, and they joined me in DC. So it's just a great, great, great place. And we were talking about all the circus that you have access to as well, Bobby. You just came from the circus today before you got on the call.
Yep.
And
And
which circus is it?
we're going to another one tomorrow.
Oh, of course.
Oh no, Saturday. Tomorrow evening. Yeah,
Oh, tomorrow evening. And you were telling me
yeah.
that it's like a
This
collective
one
of,
in
like,
Belgium.
this one is in Belgium. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. And it's like a collective, you said, of like younger circus folk and like older circus folk, like a combination. You were saying that before you got on the call, like the mix of people that are going.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something that you guys do regularly.
So it's artists from around Holland and Belgium mostly. Uh, Occasionally, someone from Germany will join us,
Of
but
course. Of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Don't forget
it's
to
a
join
great
us.
little group.
Oh yeah, that's so wonderful. Yeah, we were speaking about how interconnected it is. In Europe, when you can see that many circuses in the span of the week. Sometimes I saw, like, I don't know, like 10 different shows from 10 different circuses. Like living overseas, and it's a little bit different in America, except if you're in Vegas. I'm based in Vegas, so if you're in Vegas, you're also like in the heart of circus too. With having like not only the new circus here, but there's a lot of circus history here.
Oh
And
yeah.
And that's again, like, again, where you come into, Bobby, of like your connection and your perspectives on circus history at this point in time. I can only imagine the stories, and we don't have enough time to get into all of the stories that you must have from traveling, and being in different parts of the world, and being green at a certain point, and just kind of coming into it and getting into the circus industry and community again. Do you want to share a couple of, like, kind of standout stories for you of getting into the environment, and maybe things that were kind of, I don't know, maybe like startling or shocking to you, or things that maybe you just kind of had to end up rolling with, and then it just became the norm for you when you were in circus at that point?
Yeah, it's really been the gift of a lifetime,
Hmm.
both the gymnastics and the performer life. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, I bet. I think that we're really fortunate to go from the competitive environment. Like, that's my background too. So that's why I love speaking to fellow gymnasts that, came, into this environment, and came into essentially run away with the circus. I mean, I remember, the first time getting into things and everyone's just kind of like rolling with the punches. And you're like, wow, like that's just what we're going to do here. Like, the ship is moving, the tent's leaking. There were so many things where you get into it. Obviously, like, having that core training from being a gymnast is what sets you up to be, I think, comfortable in so many situations in circus where you are doing a lot of dangerous and, kind of crazy things that I always say is kind of like orchestrated chaos within circus. But, you get kind of set up to be comfortable to be able to do that in all of these different environments where you're on the train, or you're almost going to miss the show, but the show must go on. You still got to make it to the stage, or you're working in an environment where people are super conservative. You're working environments where there's like no structure.
if
All of
you
the
if
things.
if you can't adapt, get another profession.
Then stay out of the circus. I mean, how do you feel about circus now, Bobby? Like, how do you view, I would say, we call it the modern circus, if you don't want to use that term. I would be curious, what do you call circus now in this form, in this capacity? Did it feel modern when you started doing it in the 70s too? Like, what did that feel like?
No, we're not really that fond of what they call contemporary circus. We like to see beautiful costumes and connection with the public,
Mm-hmm.
working for the people, to the people, or worth with the people, and with many contemporary shows or performance, that doesn't seem to be the main the main thing. But so we're a little old fashioned, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, I think it speaks to just like, the different times that we're all in, and we gravitate towards some things. Sometimes I feel like I'm an old soul because I very much like a combination of the contemporary, of the modern, and then of the traditional circus too. Like, I love a rhinestone. I always tell everyone, you're never gonna see me without a bedazzled costume. I can't help it. There's a quality, of performers, in previous years, where I just thought that was just such a, just such a skill and such a way, to refine your presence on the stage, and like you said, like your connection to the audience, and I think, like, instrumentally in being connected to the audience, and how much you felt responsible to the audience, right? In terms of, it's not so much about like how you're doing. It's like, is the audience happy? Are we feeding them? Are we giving them what they came for? Like, that's what I hear a lot from folks
And
that feel like they are a bit old fashioned, so to speak.
well, with comedy, you kind of have to have a connection with your public,
That too.
or you're gonna die, big time. But no, the contemporary circus, that also has its place. Of course, there's nothing
Yeah.
stays the same, and
Hmm.
people have different ideas of what what they like, what they enjoy. So
Hmm.
yes, I mean the contemporary shows are doing very well. So somebody likes them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're
And it's
popular.
like us, if we see an act and we go, didn't care much for that, but they got a standing ovation from the public. Yeah, whose opinion is more important?
Right. Yours or the audience?
There you go.
They responded. They stood up. They loved it. I mean, there you go.
That's what you're getting paid to do.
It's showbiz. It's circus biz.
Yes.
You know what I like to say? You're an entrepreneur in the circus. That's why you're a circuspreneur.
You got it. You got it.
You got to fill seats or there's no one to clap for you. I mean, what can we say, right, Bobby?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lonely circus with no seats.
Yes, yes.
But like I think that just your perspectives. I also wanted to ask you too, Bobby, about your perspectives also too on gymnastics these days. Gymnastics has just gone from to like 1,000 now in terms of popularity and access. And you were NCAA, you were incredibly successful NCAA, but even at that time you had limits to what you're able to do. They didn't have, NIL, and you couldn't take all this sponsorship money, and you weren't
Absolutely.
ushered into all these things, and you had a magnificent career in gymnastics. You like broke all of these barriers. What does that feel like now and seeing what it's become? Do you like it? And yeah, and then what did you like also too about you would say the golden age of how things were before, because some people don't like the way that certain things have evolved. And again, like we're saying, it's so many different perspectives. Everyone has what's important to them and what feels right for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, some things have been a major improvement. Like, as you know, we tumbled on basketball floors, and my knees keep reminding me of that every day.
How did you do that?
So the new Floor X floors, that's a safety factor. That saves a lot of legs and knees and that. Yeah, all
Yeah.
for it. But some of the difficulty, I love the difficulty, of course, but sometimes it gets a little out of hand, and you lose the performance factor. The
Mm,
gymnastics should be a pretty sport,
mm, yeah.
elegant. And
Mm,
so sometimes the difficulty gets a little out of hand, and you start to lose the elegancy of the sport.
mm. Interesting. Yeah. They did that in acrobatic gymnastics, Bobby. On the edge of my retirement, they had opened up the code of points so big that you could literally do as many acrobatic sequences as you wanted to. And it was exhausting. And you couldn't do like any choreography to transition into your
Yeah,
next trick, which is again the beauty of acrobatic gymnastics. And
absolutely.
so they changed it after the last year that I competed. Actually, they changed the points and they went back to the older version where you could actually have the elegance that you're speaking about. You could have the personality, you could have the character. And again, I was grateful to try to go as far as I could with the code of points when I was in that, but it was
Yeah,
just like it took away some flavor of the sport and the originality that there was in acrobatic gymnastics as well for a while, because it was like, okay, that trick is going to get us the most points. We're going to do it 15 times in one routine,
yeah,
no
really.
matter what.
I agree with you 100%.
It was really hard. And again, I want people to, and things inevitably go to different levels anyway. You're inevitably going to try harder tricks and do those things, but the essence of keeping, I think, like the spirit and the soul and the heart of the environments and of the disciplines is important when you see the further side of it. And I experienced both. So, even someone who got to experience both, I was like really happy to see when they shifted back to that, because you could abuse that code of points when you wanted to. And then you could also really just get one over on people if you needed to. Um, it became like this whole thing that, like all of these like unforeseen consequences of, trying to go for, all right, let's go for a quad, that'll, let's do three quads. Like, we don't need three quads. Like, let's do one. One is wonderful, and then let's give us some resting time and give the athletes the opportunity to restore and rest, and have like I think, yeah, just like a more kind of like moderate exchange in the sport, which I feel like most people are more or less more happy about that. So I think it's a win-win.
I agree. I agree. And well put.
Thank you, Bobby. Well, Bobby, we are coming down to the last few minutes of the podcast, and
Oh.
yeah, I know it goes so fast. It goes so fast. The podcast always gets away from me, and even this time, I can't wait also to in the future to interview your fabulous wife, Anoushka. I love her name. Like, I just it's one of my favorite names, and she
Oh,
only needs
thank you.
a name, to lead with that.
Thank you so much. You're very, very kind.
Oh no, of course. It'll be an absolute pleasure to interview her as well, and get her her version of all of the circus escapades that you've been on together for these 40 years. But it's also too, again, culminated in your recognition by the World Acrobatics Society, and being an acrobatics legend, and having two sides of that acrobatics career, as an amateur and competing, and then as like a professional acrobat. And then now, you're also involved in with the AcroNews, and then just also too in promoting Congress, and promoting the nominations of so many legends that, folks sometimes just haven't even heard of. And that's what I love about the World Acrobatics Society. I was honored to be inducted when I was inducted into WAS, and then just seeing the names that I was, going to stand amongst was just, absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Everyone just, sometimes when I tell people, they're like, we cannot believe that you've been inducted into WAS. So that's, where the standard that they have set over these
I
past several years.
I felt the same way when I got inducted. I was just blown away. I was, yeah, so humbled by it. Like you say, you stand there and you look around and you see all of these real legends of the sport, really, and you think, wow, I belong here. This is fabulous.
All it took was a few back handsprings and a hat trick, huh, Bobby? Like the one, just obviously saying it in a very like very like jokingly way, but you have to do so much. People that are getting inducted have had, again, prolific careers, like you, and you're so humble, Bobby, in terms of your contribution to the sport of gymnastics, and in terms of your contribution to the art of the circus industry. And I really love the pairing of your journey. It reminds me and mirrors so much of my journey that happened, so many decades later, but we're all paired within that shared experience. We all speak gymnastics, and we all speak circus. And I think that's such a beautiful way to be united. And I just wanted to get, your last thoughts, Bobby, on your career, your perspectives of circus, also too, as well, in terms of Congress for WAS coming up in this next few weeks, and folks coming out to enjoy, to meet circus legends like yourself. You will not be there this year, but folks can listen to, again, this episode to get to know you better. And I'm going to, again, put your episode from WAS in the chat, so they can see the video that they presented for you when you received your Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
I do want to say that I owe all of my successes to a lot of people who helped me along the way, who coached me, who trained me. Yeah, I was. I hope that I was as good a product for them as I could have been, which I wasn't. I could have been better, but I was having too much fun.
You were magnificent, and even more, Bobby. You've got time. Please continue.
You're frozen.
And even more, you can share even more, Bobby, about your experience to send us off on the podcast.
Oh, uh, gee, that's that's hard to say in just a few words. Like I said, it's been a gift of a lifetime, and I'm so thankful to all the people who helped me reach the successes that I have reached, and I'm most happy for the friends that we've made, both of the sports, and lifetime. You'll meet many of them at WAS.
I'm
They
looking
will
forward
they
to
will
meeting
take
them.
good care of you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that I feel. And is there any advice that you want to leave current performers with, Bobby, or those thinking about getting into the circus that are just starting out with their journey or in the middle of their journey? What advice would you like to give them, whether they're in gymnastics competing right now or they are going for, a well-rounded circus career? What feedback would you give?
Okay, well, the first thing would be what we mentioned before: always have a backup
Mm.
for your profession, for your finances, especially. Uh, and as far as being performers or gymnasts, uh, don't specialize. Have a broad concept of what you're doing, because all the little things that you learn from other aspects of the sport or the profession will help you greatly uh, in the end. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That is so valuable. Oh my gosh.
And the last thing, always have fun with what you are doing. I like to say, having fun is no, winning is no good unless you're also having fun, and having fun is uh, not no good unless you're also winning.
Well said. I agree.
Good. I thought you might.
You know, I think we're on the same page here, Bobby.
Great minds.
What did they say? Oh, you're just fantastic. Thank you so much, Bobby. You are just
Oh,
absolutely wonderful.
thank you for having me, Shania. This has been really great. It's been fun. There you
I hope so.
go.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad that it's been fun. And that you've enjoyed yourself. And I hope that, you felt honored, Bobby, on the Circuspreneur podcast. We're definitely honored to have someone with your prolific, I have to continue to say that, fantastic, wonderful, successful circus career. It is not lost on us on the Circuspreneur podcast. And, we thank you. We stand on your shoulders, as we like to say on the Circuspreneur podcast. Thank you for building us up. Thank you for leaving a legacy. And thank you for putting so much back into the industry as well, with Was. And then with, all of your amazing advice and feedback and energy. And yes, until next time, Bobby, all of my best to you. And I hope to meet you soon in the future and see you down the
Very
road.
definitely.
Yeah.
Sometime, somewhere. And thank you so much for having me. It really has been an honor for me.
Oh, thank you so much, Bobby. And I want to leave
Take care.
everyone with.
Take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. That's the most important.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Bobby. The
Okay.
Circuspreneur podcast is also available on stagelink.com, stagelync.com, the groundbreaking new platform for live performing arts that provides unmatched access and connection to this vibrant world of shows and entertainment. If you're a professional in the performing arts, visit stagelink.com/pro. StageLink Pro, StageLyncPro, offers industry professionals higher visibility, networking opportunities, and tools to support and enhance their careers. Again, until next time, time, everyone, please stay safe, stay healthy. As Bobby says, I'm your host, Shanae Stiletto. Please tune in to the next episode of the Circuspreneur Podcast.